I'm Lucy Kanja, and I was to take you through what happens in an immunization session when we are implementing COVID vaccine introduction, and also it happens during routine immunization. Number one, we are talking of infection prevention, and therefore every time before you do every procedure, you are supposed to sanitize your hand or do hand washing. It is critical. Then here I'm going to show you the equipment that we need to ensure that the vaccines are kept at the required temperatures of +2, +8. This is one of the fridges. It is used by the vaccine depots and also the high volume facilities. As you can see, it has many baskets, so it can accommodate huge numbers. And we are talking of also temperature monitoring. Every equipment is supposed to have a temperature monitoring gadget. For Kenya, we are using Fridge Tag 2A to monitor temperature. This is a gadget that records temperature continuously, and you can physically be able to read the temperature manually for 30 days. And if you want to do a printout, the tag, using this USB cable, you can get a 60-day PDF copy. In this PDF copy, you'll have the AM temperature of each day, the PM, the average temperature. If there was any alarm occurring due to temperatures being above 8 degrees or below 0.5 degrees, it will be shown in this gadget. So this ensures that we are able to continuously monitor our equipment, and we are able to know whether the vaccine have been stored in the correct temperature. So that is one of them. Then here we have another fridge, MK144. This is a fridge that you'll get in most lower level facilities. It has a capacity of 48 liters. This one has a capacity of 145 liters. And here, the vaccine, we are supposed to arrange them according to sensitivity to heat and sensitivity to cold. So using this tray, the health workers are able to know which vaccine to put where, dependent on whether it is sensitive to heat or freezing. This fridge, the coldest part is at the bottom. The bottom tray is used to keep polio and yellow fever for counties that do it routinely. And the blue tray, we keep measles rubella vaccine and BCG. Then we have the green tray, where we keep rotavirus vaccine, and we have the yellow tray. In this tray there is TD vaccine and TT, and also IPV. And this is the tray where now COVID-19 vaccine will be put. We have heard of its attribute. It is sensitive to heat, sensitive to freezing, and sensitive to light. So it is put at the middle tray strategically to ensure that it is protected from light, protected from freezing, protected from heat. Then we have pentavalent and HPV in this orange tray, and the red tray is for pneumococcal vaccine. Again, at any level, we are saying you must maintain cold chain, and even here, there is this fridge tag to continuously monitor the temperature of this fridge. We also have at lower level this vertical fridge, where again we arrange the vaccines again according to sensitivity to heat. And on the top tray, the assumption of most vertical trays, the coldest part is at the top, and so polio and measles rubella, they are up. Then you find Lota and BCG, they are following. Then TT again, TT, IPV, and COVID-19 vaccine, they'll be sharing the tray. And then you find pentavalent. And again, as I've said in the previous equipment, we are also having the temperature. And for COVID-19 vaccine, it must be maintained between +2, +8. So if I was to place the COVID-19 vaccine in this refrigerator, it tells me it is in safe space. Then we have pneumococcal and HPV. Then we come to the equipment that we use during transportation or when we are going for outreaches, whether we are going to collect vaccine from the depots or we are going for outreaches very far, we need to have WHO pre-qualified equipment to ensure that the vaccines are maintained at +2, +8 as required. we use ice packs, conditioned ice packs, so that they ensure the temperature is also maintained, whether during transportation or storage or outreaches or in a fixed post. And again, even when we are having the transportation, again, we continuously monitor the temperatures. We must know at what level the temperatures are at every moment. So they are ice-lined. And we have smaller ones, we have even bigger ones, dependent on the facility and dependent on the use and the number of population that you are going to meet. So when we are doing our micro planning, the facility can tell whether they are going to use the big code box, the smaller one, or even the bigger. We have in different capacities. Then we come to now the immunization session. During training, we are informing the healthcare workers there are processes that they must do before the client come, during the session, and also after the session. So these other preparations are done before the client come. Planning for logistics, ordering, ensuring that your cold chain equipments are working. So when the client come, we'll find the health worker has already removed the vaccines from the refrigerator, and now they are placed in the vaccine carrier. We have different models of vaccine carrier. So when you visit the facility, you'll have, like, this is another model, that is another model, and you'll have other models, different one. So here, of importance to note is that this is now what we are using, whether we are in an outreach setting, to continuously remove now the vaccines that we are using in session. When you look at this vaccine carrier, there is a foam pad here. This foam pad is strategically put here to ensure that even when the immunization is in session, we are reducing the introduction of hot air inside the vaccine carrier. And you'll also see in another one the use of a foam pad. And again, we have some antigens, so more antigens will be inside this carrier, but the antigens that are in use, you put them, there are spaces provided. So if I was giving an injection, I'll just pick the open vial or whatever I want to open, then withdraw the doses that I require, and then return it. And when that vial is over, then I'll go back, remove from the others that are here, and then put it here to minimize the exposure. And you can see also, they also have the conditioned ice packs, so that even during that immunization session, the temperature is continuously maintained. And also for this newer model, it also have a digital thermometer. So you can either have a physical thermometer in the carrier, or the digital one recording for you the temperatures. Then there are other logistics that we are looking for. We know COVID-19 is an injectable. So part of the logistics that we plan is the auto-disabled syringe that we need to ensure that we are giving the dose. The dose is 0.5. So you can see I've already prepared the 0.5 syringes are already here. And we also need a swab that we swab before we give the injection ready. Other materials that we need is this vaccine. We know when we withdraw the first dose, after 6 hours it expires. So you need to note, when you give the first client, you note in the vial the time the vaccine has been opened, so that any other person, even if I step out and somebody else come later, can tell when whether that vaccine is now expired or still within the required timeline of giving. So that is critical, noting the time when you give the first dose. Then after that, at the end of the session, all the closed vials that you did not open are supposed now to be returned to the fridge. So here you'll find when the health worker removes the vaccines from refrigerator, there is this vaccine ledger book. This is a stock book to record the transaction of the day. And so when they receive from the depot, they'll say, this so much doses received from the depot. And then when you move to take it to the clinic, you will say to clinic these doses. And at the end of the session, the closed vial, you'll count them again and record. So you are able to track. And this will also help the healthcare worker to know when they are reaching the stock out level, so that they are able to order on time. So this one is done daily. Then we have talked about temperature monitoring. For accountability, we record also. We know we can get a PDF copy of 60 days, but it is good also for action to track the temperature monitoring daily. So they have this book where they record the details of the refrigerator, and then if it is the AM, they record it was 3.1, PM when they are leaving, yesterday it was 3.4. So when you come in the morning, you're also able to track the yesterday's temperature and the previous day. So when they come in the morning, they also check what happens when they were away, and they are able to record the maximum temperature of the day, the minimum temperature of the day, and the initial of the person who has recorded that temperature. If there is any alarm of any temperature out of range, there is where they indicate the actions taken, because you have to ensure that the vaccines given to the client are ponted and are maintained at the required temperature as per WHO requirement and Ministry of Health. Again, we have this documentation tool. This is Advanced Events Following Immunization booklet. This has been with us. It is the book that is used to report in case there is any reaction or a client come back with a concern, or whether it is a concern with a healthcare worker or a client or even the community. They record in this book. With COVID, they will also be recorded in the system. So in this book, we get the information of the facility that is reporting, the details of the client, what are the complaints the client has given, and when was that date and the time. Then what antigen did the client complain about? Is it the first or the second dose? Because we know now as AstraZeneca, it is a 2-dose. So with the client complain whether it is the first or the second, the batch number, the manufacturer, those details are critical. Then the past medical history of that client. Has he had any other condition coexisting, comorbidities? Then actions taken. When they complained, what did the healthcare worker do? All that information is recorded. Then the name of the person recording, the designation, the signature, the phone number, and then it is cascaded. And for that reason, routinely, we say every facility should have an emergency tray prepared. Whether you are in an outreach session or you are in a fixed facility, so we have emergency tray, and there are drugs that are put in the emergency tray. Our healthcare workers are well trained on what to input in the emergency tray. Then we have the infection prevention control. We know this is an injection and it is generating waste. So number one, we have to have a safety box, and the rule is the safety box should be arm's length, like where I've placed this one, arm's length from where you are injecting the client. You are not allowed to give the jab, then you are walking around with a needle, because that will give opportunities for people to have needle prick and also unnecessary injury. So arm's length is the rule, and the box itself, when it is 3/4 full, it is closed and sealed and put in a designated area for waste disposal. Then we have other waste disposal bins that we do, and our healthcare workers are well trained. Then that is what happens to a client. So when you give now, assuming this is my client, there is the positioning of the client. We said the client should face away from you. So if a client was seated here, I'll be on this side of the client so that I give the jab, because we are giving on the left arm. So you are here and they are facing away from you. So that is part of what we are saying. The client should not be facing you directly, should be facing away from you when you are giving that jab. So assuming that I was using this vaccine carrier, I've removed my doses, I've given the client, and you see it, I also have a foam box like the other ones. I'll give the jab. Then after that, you tell the client when they're expected to come back. And after that, we are giving them 15 to 30 minutes time of waiting before they exit the health facilities. So that is basically what happens through the immunization session, from the time before the clients come, during the session, and after the session. And of course, you thank the client for coming, and then you give them the necessary maybe literature material that are available for him or her to go and continue learning. Then after that, again, you do hand hygiene again. You sanitize or you wash your hands before you handle the next client.